Hi everybody, this is Peter. I'm trying something new here. I'm going to record a demonstration of my using the debugger, and I'm going to assign it as a homework for you to reproduce on your own. So I'm going to go slow to make sure you follow everything, and then I'm going to explain and narrate what I'm doing all along. I hope this works. I'm unrehearsed, and so expect some mistakes. So as you can see, I'm in Eclipse right now, and I'm going to create a new program. So I'm say File, New Java Project, and I'm going to call it Debug Example, and hit Finish. And then the first thing I do is I click on Debug Example again, and I say File, New Class, and I'm going to call the class Debug Example also. I'm going to request that it create a blank public static main for me, and I'm off to the races. So this is a very, very simple program that I'm going to write. What I want to do is I want to have an array data, which I'm going to initialize with the following numbers: 2, 3, 1, 0, 100, 2, 99. Nice spacing, always important. 2, 99. And I'm going to simply print out system.out.println the number of twos in this array is, and I'm going to call a method that I'm about to write called howMany, and I'm going to give it the array data and the number I'm looking for, 2. Now, this is not even debugging yet, but as I'm sure you've noticed, in Eclipse, you get these lovely little underlined red things under any mistakes that it can detect, which are a lot. And the first thing you can do is just click on it, and it's going to sometimes give you a quick fix, which is, I guess we have to create this method. There it is. Fantastic. Now it's thinking I'm going to return a string, but I really wanted to return an int, so I'm going to modify this, because how could it know my intention? And other than that, we're good to go. So I'm now going to write the program off the top of my head, and you're going to see perhaps I will make some mistakes as I go. So I'm going to start with a loop for int I equals 0. I is less than or equal to data dot length, the length of the array, and I plus plus. I'm going to simply check if if the data sub I is equal to the number I'm looking for, I. Let's call it look for just to make it easier, look for. So I'm going to just change this parameter here to be, instead of I, be look for. And if it is, I'm going to increment a variable count by 1. And I'm going to return that count. And I seem to have a lot of mistakes in here, so let's go back and see what's going on. Obviously, this should be a semicolon. So let's declare, obviously count is not declared, so I'm going to declare it. I'm going to say int count equals 0. That's good. A lot of things went away. Oh, I have here this, and it says, oh, length is not a function, it's a field. Okay, so we just changed it to length. Save it. Oh, now we have another problem. I wonder what's wrong here. It's saying that it must return something of type int, and I say, well, it is already returning something of type int right here on line 14. Think about it a little bit more. What do you think? Do you have an idea? Well, the reason is that it may never hit that if statement. There may not be any copy of the value look for, in which case it would never assign a value. It would never return count. So I have to put return count in. So I'm going to put return count in. And another problem. And what is this problem? Oh, why? Oh, this is not actually inside the function. Okay, we'll put it back. Copy and paste it here. Okay, it looks like we're in business, right? So let's try. Oh, no, we're not. Let's see what's wrong now. Cannot be resolved to a variable. Wait a second. Count is a variable. I don't know why it's saying that. Excuse me while I have some coffee. Count is a variable. Why is it saying it can't return it? Think about it for a second. And, oh, I see. We're talking about scoping now. The variable count is defined at line 11, which is inside this for loop, which goes from line 10 to line 16. So by now, line 17, count is gone. So that's not good. So I guess I have to move count into the top level. Now, I think I'm good. I'm going to run the program. And what I hope is that it will print 1, because there's 1, 2 in this array, right? There's a single 2. I'm calling how many using the array data and the variable 2, and which means that when this function is called, it's going to be looking for 2 and increment that. So the number should be, it should return a 1. So I'm going to run it now by hitting this triangle. And it worked. Very nice. Let's see if we actually understand how it worked. Let's try to look for a number that does not exist. -1. Okay, just save it. Uh-oh, something funny happened now. I have an array index out of bounds. Why is that? Well, I can start changing lines all over the place. I can think about it real hard, but let's think about it a little bit and look at the code. So we're putting in -1. If we trace it, I don't know if I can point. I don't think I can point with the mouse, but let's see. Line 10, count is set to 0. Line 11 is going to go from 0 to data.length, which I'm hoping is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Why hope? Let's go find out. Okay, I'm going to put a breakpoint right here by double-clicking in the margin. And I'm going to press the bug icon here. And I'm going to run debug example. And it runs. It flickers the screen. Don't let that worry you. It runs up to this point, line 11. And we notice that the formal variable look for has been attached to -1, because that's what the call said. We see that the variable count is set to 0, which is good because we just initialized it. And we see the data contains the data that I put in. That's good too. Yep, looks like it's all there. So, well, I'm curious whether data.length is really what it is. So I can I do this? No, but I can open up another thing, which I didn't even talk about in class. I'm going to go to show view expressions. And now I can actually put here data.length. Oops. And it's going to tell me what that value of that variable is right now. It's 7. And does that match? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's correct. So our assumption is correct. I continue to trace in my head. And I notice that data is equal to 0. So data sub 0 or data sub I should be equal to 2. So let's put that in here too. Data sub I. Does that work? I'm not even sure actually. No, it does not work. So ignore that tip. But I can just simply go back to the variables as a whole and keep an eye on data. And so if this is correct, then data sub I will be data sub 0, which is equal to 2, but I'm searching for -1, so it should not enter this if statement, correct? Because if data sub y, it should not enter this statement. So I'm going to single step, and now it's going to do the test. And it did not enter the if statement. It goes up by 1. Okay, that's cool. We like that. My assumptions are matching. I'm going to continue to single step by hitting this little arrow that's single stepping. And we're now looking at I equals to 1. That's supposed to be 3. That's not going to be equal to -1. Hop over. That's good. So far, so good. And do it a few more times. It keeps hopping over. You notice here I is incrementing as I expect. And we go on and on. Probably nothing interesting will happen until we get to the end. 6. So now we're at I equals 6. That should be 99. It's still not equal to -1, right? And one more time. I is now equal to 7. Holy moly. There are only 6 entries in data. Obviously, this line, 12, is going to look inside an incorrect array entry, isn't it? But why? But why? Well, how many times does a loop happen? When you're doing a for loop, as you've practiced many times, it keeps on looping as long as the second expression, I is less than or equal to data.length, is true. Right now, I is less than or equal to data.length. In fact, it's equal to data.length exactly. Data.length, as we recall, was equal to 7, and I is now equal to 7. So it's going to go through one more time. That's too many, because if it tries to access data sub 7, it's going to give an error because there is no data sub 7, as we can see when we look here. Okay? And I will stop there. And your assignment is to really do this yourself, like literally have your computer open and type everything in that I typed, and figure out how to fix the bug, and then write a reflection for us as a submission of what the experience was, what did you have trouble with, what worked nicely, how you figured out what the bug was, and how you fixed it. I'm looking for a couple of paragraphs at most. Okay? I hope this is useful, and I'm going to ask for your feedback to let me know if it's useful and whether or not you want me to do more of these. And I'm going to now stop the recording. Bye-bye. See you in an hour. It's already an hour before class. Bye.